Well, hello there. Short talk in the trailer park with an old guy. It's Monday. It's a Monday morning. Getting ready to go to work, and I'm going to take these goggles off so you can see my eyes. I'm badly nearsighted, if you hadn't noticed, and so when people put on glasses, if they're nearsighted, it makes their eyes look even smaller. Um, so it's like, hey, is there anyone in there? I getting ready to head into work, and it was kind of a strange weekend. Went to watch the Ags play baseball. It was their last home game, and they were playing against Louisiana Tech, I think it was called. And the Ags won, and so it was a good game. And they had a nice little ceremony afterwards for the seniors. And if the seniors wanted to invite mom and dad or their girlfriend or grandpa, who knows, there was people who would accompany them out, and nice little ceremony, and just wave bye bye to the seniors and stuff. And I didn't really want to watch much on the old algorithm here this morning. I don't have a TV. I haven't had one since I believe it was the early 1990s, 30 years we'll call it, and I don't miss it a bit. And anyway, I was watching some stuff about Mark Dice was talking about how all commercials nowadays have mixed race couples by definition. That you will never see a white couple in an advertisement these days. And even the poodle, he had a couple of sound bites of the poodle commenting to the same effect. And so the righteous indignation of the left continues to try to eradicate whiteness per se, because I mean, white is the worst thing ever, isn't it? And boy, my allergies are already starting to fire up. Went out and watered the grass a little bit today. Took out some trash, and trying to get organized for a Monday morning. And I was praying last night and kind of distressed and, oh, I guess you'd say confounded or worried about this crazy water heater change out thing, because this has been now weeks. There's a 75-gallon power vent that we're still waiting on. Supposedly it's going to show up Tuesday in some stretch of the imagination, but Tuesday night is the night I have to change out those two other water heaters. So I don't really see three of those monster water heaters going in one day, but I was just trying to boil all that up in my head, and I thought, well, the entire Christian gospel, in a word, you could kind of boil it down to, well, not a word to be a phrase, uh, kind of God asking the question, yeah, yeah, I know, it's ugly. Do you trust me? Do you trust me? And so we have to affirm, I think, verbally. There's a school of thought, you hardly ever hear about them anymore. The idea of confess it and kind of it's yours idea. The word of faith, it was a kind of a charismatic slash Pentecostal thing. I'm thinking 25, 30 years ago. And the name it and claim it, that's what it was. And they kind of went, I think, a little off the rails there, but there is an aspect for where it's important for us to verbalize, to say words, important words, and to believe them. You know what I mean? Down in your heart, but I buy it. And so the question is, do you buy it? Do you really buy it that Jesus Christ is going to save you? Or do you really buy it that He has this plan that has been set forth from before the foundation of things, before anything was? He saw every bit of this coming, every bit of the flying debris and the nonsense. And speaking of flying debris and nonsense, I was listening yet to another one of these videos. They just seem to drone on for a while, and at first it's supposed to have this shocking header like Oumuamua is coming back, and it's whatever. I don't know about this Oumuamua thing, but the thing is that it always leads into this little history lesson, and sure enough, pretty soon they're talking about Sputnik and stuff. Uh, and so the speculative angle that comes through a lot of this stuff, you're a video consumer. You're imbibing. You're passive. You're just sitting there taking information in, or not taking images in, more likely. That is a contrast to the Christian faith. The Christian faith affirms, it asserts, and in fact, even at the possible loss of money or fame or wealth or even our lives, the affirmation is when we say that Christ, the Anointed One, that's Jesus of Nazareth, is in fact Lord. We're saying He's Lord, as in Lord God, Mr. Almighty, the inventor of dirt and stuff, everything, the life giver, the mighty maker. And do you buy it? And so I was kind of doing some affirming kind of work last night, trying to just calm myself, because it's like, let's face it, Mike, it's a Sunday night at 2 in the morning. What are you really going to do about a water heater that you're going to be dealing with 48 hours from now? And the answer is probably not much, but I could at least plan out what we need to bring in and make sure we have everything, right? So we can be dutiful, we can be diligent, we can, fill out all the forms and the blanks and do everything the right way. But at the bottom, it's really an issue of trust, isn't it? It's an issue of, when you get in the car and you're in the passenger seat, you're trusting that the driver over there is sober, paying attention to the road, and paying attention to the traffic around them, and even weather conditions. Do you trust them? Otherwise, just tell them stop the car and get out. We don't stop the car and get out of Christianity, because what happens in our lives is that as these trials, and these are very small trials, I'm talking about a couple of water heaters in the middle of the night. These are very dinky dog trials, but it's there that we realize that, boy, I'm really not equipped well for trusting anyone. I don't even trust myself. Now, that's probably a wise choice. But I just wanted to kind of encourage you some today. Find a way to affirm verbally today that your trust is in the Maker. Tell him that. I trust you, Father Almighty, and I give you my, whatever it is. Maybe it's my driver's license, or maybe it's my health, or maybe it's this wound that won't close up. That darn thing broke open again today. I was out working on Saturday on that side job, and that thing just blew up. And so I finally got it to calm down and quit leaking and stuff for about a good 36 hours. And so I thought, well, eventually it'll scab over. We don't know when exactly, but it will eventually. But do I trust in His healing power? Yes, because He's the healer Himself. He's the guy that invented life. If you think about how complex your body is, just as one example, or any living creature, all the way down to the microscopic level of genomes, genetics, and genomes passing on all this fantastic amount of information. He built that sucker on the first try. No overs. And he has proven himself over and over again. The problem is on our end, right? The problem is on our end. We're weak, we're confused, we're easily confounded. Speaking of easily confounded, the U.S. So-called representatives up there in D.C., those 2-bit, never mind, don't mean to insult the working girls by comparing them to representatives. But they've made it illegal, I guess, somehow, for me to say anything at all about Israel or Jews or something that isn't just entirely flattering and bootlicking. If we have any kind of critique at all of the nation state of Israel, well, then we're an anti-Semite. How so? And it sounds kind of like Ben Shapiro on steroids there, or something like that. But this whole manangled up mess of what's happening in Israel right now with the U.S., we don't know if it's backing a war or if it's not backing a war with Iran. The situation is, as we boil it down, it looks confused, but at the bottom of it is dirty deals with money changing hands. Dirty deals, and eventually it'll end up with bodies, dead bodies. You can't say anything good about the church, but you can only say good about Israel. Now, is that a bizarre legalism? Is that a contortion in the brain? Yeah. And we have this whole world around us, and we're passively taking this data in. And we need to stop taking data in all the time and begin to do a little output. We need to have ways that we can confirm verbally and with the deeds we do and the contracts we sign and the things we refuse to budge on. We need to make a positive contribution into ordering our lives, a contribution based upon trust of the Father, trust of the Holy God, and then it even spreads out from there. We begin to trust other people. We begin to trust that God is leading the church in the way that is best, even though from our perspective it often looks pretty confounded. And so we have to be willing to lay down my opinions in terms of what I think should happen, what I think is the most important stuff, the thing that's crucial, and we have to be willing to surrender, come out to Him and say, I don't know the right way. You are the right way, sir. You are the right path. You're the desire. And so I just wanted to kind of finish up with this. This is a Monday, and just take this for what it's worth. Sometimes when I'm walking, I'll kind of put my hands together like this, and I don't know which way I'm headed. I'm just out for a walk. Which way would I like to go? Which way would I prefer? What's my desire? So I'll ask myself that question. Which way would I like to go? Then I'll ask myself, is there a way that I'm morally obliged? Is there a righteous way I should pass through here today? And then the last question I ask myself is, well, I can't see around corners. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I might get hit by a truck in 5 minutes and go nowhere. God the Father, He knows where this walk will end up finally, because in His book, He sees the whole thing as being complete, whereas I'm just pacing it out step by step. So I ask myself 3 questions. What would I like? What would be the right thing to do? And what really shall actually happen that only You can see, Father? And when we think about Him as the locus of our lives, He is the one we fundamentally desire to be near, to hear. He is the one we desire to embrace and to be embraced by. So desire focuses on Him. What's the right thing to do? Well, it would be the right thing to follow Him. It would be the right thing to hear His word and do as He says. So now He's already got 2 out of 3. But the third one, He sews it up. But what will actually happen? What really will happen in the future? And what will really happen in the future is we will be seated with Christ. We will be crowned as sons by adoption. We will have a place with the Father because He's foreseen it. He can see where we're at. He can see way around a lot of corners, and He sees the future perfectly well. And so we're in good hands. It's a Monday. Go out there, be confident today. Confide in Him. That's how you be confident, by the way. You don't be just brassy and loud. To confide. I confide my failures. I confide my fears. I confide my shame to the Father. And in this confiding, I ask for release. I ask for a new start. And this is part of our Christian walk, isn't it? So do something like that today and see if that doesn't help you out some. Lift some of that gloom and doom off you. You know, all the Oumuamuas are going to come down crashing on us tomorrow and boo, boo, boo. Yeah, sure. But in the world, oh, by the way, don't forget the dollar's going to fall apart. And don't forget banks are going to crash. And don't forget, you know, I mean, there's 40 things coming at us right now from around the world that each and every one of them is going to end the way that you lived and I lived as an American. We're going into a new world, and it's different territory. We're not used to it. We really don't know what's going to happen. But there it is. He sees around corners, and He has a place for us, and we will reside at rest in Him. Be confident because He hears you when you confide in Him. God bless you. Have a good day.